Hey, Anime Addicts. Wait, don't skip this promo. I have a joke for you. What does My Hero Academia, Joseph Joestar's penis, and a bowl of ramen have in common? You have to listen to this whole show to find out, and you won't truly understand the meaning of the joke unless you support us over at aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon. Remember, I love you, and if that's not enough of a reason to support us over at aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon, you can rub my shiny Krillin-like bald head. Yes, I'm whoring myself, and we might also talk about Joseph Joestar's penis. Now, on with the show.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at aaapodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Weebs, come one and all into the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast because Mitz is back in this his house. I was gone, but I am here. Your savior, the Pope, hath returneth to bring you the light of righteousness and anime addiction. Welcome into the podcast, all of you sussy bakas. We have Mason, who is for now in Illinois. How are you, Mason?
Indeed. I'm doing quite well. As you said, this is the last recording day in this setup, in this dig, so soak it all in. For next time we meet, we'll be back on the East Coast, so excited to get on back.
And what are you drinking today, Mason?
Oh, mixed it up, but I decided, I gotta stay on brand. Obviously, blue cup filled with lukewarm tap water, because that is just my personality personified, so...
Mason, will the blue cup follow you to Connecticut?
It will not, because I have my own blue cup, the replica, the brother, if you will, of this blue cup in Connecticut. And if you're a listener, it's just a really big blue cup that is the only thing that can quench my insatiable thirst of anime and H2O.
Mason's hair is getting very wild, by the way, as noted by Twitch. Captain Avatar has commented on your hair that all bald men like myself are all very jealous of. If you could just share with me half of your hair, I would have normal amounts of hair, and that would be great.
Well,
but no, you can't do that. Just selfish.
Half the reason I'm growing it out to such preposterous lengths is to donate it. And if you want to be the recipient, we can make it happen. Or I could just podcast right behind you and just flop my hair forward on top of yours, like the world's... Like a human centipede toupee kind of thing.
We also have Caroline. How are you today, Caroline? And what are you drinking today on this show?
I got water in an orange cup because that's my aesthetic. And I am just finishing up the remains of the coffee that I brought up to my room and did not spill this time. I have to say that is an accomplishment for me because I am notoriously clumsy.
Well, welcome to the show, Primary Colors. And I am having... a new flavor of Monster. It is gold, ultra gold color.
Does it taste like gold?
That is delicious.
How is the gold experience?
If I could pour it on myself, it would be a golden shower. I like gold. I like showers, and I like Monster. That sounds like the life.
That just makes me remind myself of that one guy in Game of Thrones who had molten gold poured on his head. And that didn't really end well for him, so I don't know if that's the way you want to go.
Well, the gold flavor is pretty much a mixture of classic energy drink flavor and pineapple, so it comes out very well. But happy to be on the show today. We have a delicious show for you as well, beyond just the flavor of my Monster. Again, of course, we're here to make your anime addiction worse on Twitch every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So if you're not on our Twitch, well, even though I told you I love you at the start of the show, you just don't love me enough, and I'm sad, and Mason's sad, and Caroline, she's sad too. So check us out on Twitch. We're also on Facebook, where Caroline puts forth a lot of effort on the Facebook and on the Twitter. on the social media?
I guess. I feel like I could put in more effort, but I get the job done, I guess.
And of course, the Discord. We're like 2,100 people strong over there on the Discord, so you'll want to head over there via the website, aaapodcast.com. I know you'll head over there only after going to aaapodcast.com/join, where you'll hear more about Joseph Joestar's penis and so much more. It's very, very fantastic. And on the podcast today, we're going to talk about what we've been watching. We've been all doing our nerd thing. We each have 4 or 5 shows to talk about that we've been watching, so maybe you'll find something that's just perfect for you yourself to watch in your free time. And then later on the show, we're going to be playing a game with Caroline's Game Corner, and also we are going to be reviewing, well, skateboarding. Like podcasting is just, what can one say but so much fun. It's just it's so much fun. It's so fun.
Is it fun? Is it really?
And don't remember, skateboarding is fun when we review SK8 the Infinity. So, good God help us all.
Fun is infinite.
All right. Anything else, guys, before we get started?
Skateboarding is fun.
No, I'm all good.
大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
Well, it is time for the trilogy in Japan. We've heard of Rent a Girlfriend, the anime. Well, there was first there was Rent a Middle-Aged Dude. And then there was Rent a Little Sister. I don't know why you would do that. It's very strange. And now there is Rent, quote, Fat People in Japan. From the same service, the company states that its goal is to promote progression away from an era where being fat had a negative image, asserting that, quote, in Japan, it takes skill to reach a weight of over 100 kilograms. This is it's a very interesting PR. In fact, the service is actually an offshoot of plus-size men's clothing store Qzilla. So you can just rent all kinds of people now in Japan. You can rent girlfriends, you can rent middle-aged dudes, little sisters, and now you can rent overweight people. Which is just continuing to just perpetuate the stigma in Japan that Japan is a very weird place, in fact. So, and they have some PR press for this. They say, who would use this service? And honestly, I was kind of curious because I can't think of a single reason why I would personally rent any human of any category. I just don't see why I would do it. But they have some very strange and not very convincing reasons why you would rent a fat person, as described in this article. Quote, I want help eating a crazy large portion menu item at a restaurant.
So you're basically paying them to eat food you are already paying for.
Yeah, it's like paying taxes on stock dividends that you've already been taxed on the income that you used to buy the stocks to get the dividends.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. Totally made sense.
How can I sign up to be a rentable fat person in Japan? Because if I knew I could get a job just helping other people eat their food and just hang out with them, I'm tempted.
Yeah, I mean, Mason's like, I can definitely still eat all of your food.
I can, and I could just put on a little bit of LBs and get over the 100 kilogram mark. So I could be a part-time fat person.
You're pretty tall, Mason, so I imagine you're probably not actually that far off anyway. I mean, I could be wrong, but I imagine you're probably
got that obese BMI going on over here.
I mean, you've got to be at least 190 pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're not really that far off. I want help picking out a present for someone I know who is heavy set. Doesn't seem like really a necessary thing either. Just maybe know who your friend is. I'm doing cosplay, and I want someone to dress as a heavy-set character from the series. Maybe, but I don't know, doesn't seem like a very large market. I want someone to stand by me when I take pictures so I'll look thinner. But
then you just have a random person in your pictures, so what was the point?
It's so stupid. Have you never heard of Photoshop? Which is what everybody else does. I have a problem, but I want advice from a heavy-set person about. Or I want someone to play on a seesaw with me.
That doesn't.
So weird.
How do you play on a seesaw if you're gonna be eternally up in the air, right?
Who plays on a seesaw ever anyway? This is
seesaws are
stupid.
Well,
This service
first you need to rent the little sister so that you can get to the playground without seeming like a creep. And then once you've infiltrated that with the little sister you're renting, then you rent the heavyset friend, participate in seesaw activities. So it's two for the price of one.
I just can't. I don't know. Japan is such a weird place. Like, is there really a market for this? Will anybody really use this? I mean, I kind of get it when it's like when it was the service where you would like rent a girlfriend to hold her hand and walk around or have dinner, because then it's like it's just people get lonely, I guess, and it's not that different than, you know, any other service where you'd like rent somebody, where you pay somebody for money for like a relationship based experience. But like renting like little sisters or what was it, middle-aged dude, what, that's even less interesting. So
No, sometimes maybe you just gotta learn how to drive like a manual car, and you just need someone to tell you how.
I'm looking at the link here for the middle-aged dude, but the article is way too long. So, but yeah, Japan is just a weird fucking place. It will continue to perpetuate itself as being a strange place where all kinds of weird shit happens, and that's why these articles continue to pop up, because it is just weird. So, and someone in the chat said, Louis the Cat says, how about rent a smart person to do your homework? See, that makes more sense to me. So, rent a smart person.
Might as well just rent a tutor, right?
People already do that. They already rent tutors to do all the past tests for them. I used to have a tutor that said he could get you a B on anything. It didn't matter what it was. He would take any test for you and get a B. Like your MCAT, like your med school exams, he would get a B. So, I don't know. Anyway, Caroline.
All right. So I heard that Miyabi announced North American tour dates starting from September 30th to October 31st. So he is going to be in locations like Vancouver, Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Denver, Dallas, Austin, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Toronto, Montreal, New York, Boston, Washington, D.C., and Atlanta. And there are a few other dates as well. I just didn't put all of them in there. So tickets went on sale on Friday, and I actually decided to take a look at the New York location, and it's actually pretty affordable based on that's like $35.
Well, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested in going, except that the date is like a week away from my sister's wedding, so I think it would just be a little bit busy.
That's plenty of time.
Yeah, but then also I have this other friend who wants to go see this other band that's like a week before the wedding, and so it's just a little too much. So yeah, and also it's on a Wednesday night at like 8:00, and I have like a 9:30 bedtime. So
Me too.
Tell the nice folks who might not know who Miyavi is.
Yes, I was gonna ask.
Oh yes, so he's one thing that I really know him from is the Kogoku OP. He's like that one.
Flashback.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like that song. But and of course he has other music too. So if you're a fan, then you might want to go check him out. And if you're just looking for something to do from September 30th to October 31st, and he happens to be going to a location nearby you, and it's like $35 when it's in New York, it should be fine.
$35 until Ticketmaster gives you like a $15 processing fee.
That is also true. Yeah.
Well,
but I don't know. Good to know.
I think you should go if you want. I still am unable to travel to England for my concert as of now. So
and that was early August, early September.
Yeah, I don't really, I don't want to really get into it, but I don't really see why. I don't really get it, honestly, but I don't get it. But yeah, it's good to see that stuff is starting to happen again, and I think you should go if you want to go. I will live vicariously through you should I fail to go to my concert in August.
Well, I'm pulling for both of you.
Of course, I will also be out over $2,000, but that is neither here nor there. Mason,
You gotta live your life.
I know,
Exactly.
fucking A. Let me live. Let me do the things. Mason.
Yes, Netflix dropped a poop ton of new shows and release announcements recently as part of their Geeked Week, a 5-day virtual event that happened from June 7th to the 11th. A couple of these are shows that are already out, in like the global market, and they've announced when they're actually coming to Netflix, such as Godzilla Singular Point coming on June 24th, Shaman King, the remake, coming on August 9th, Eden Zero releasing August 26th, but no Beastars season 2 announcement. Maybe they have announced it and I just missed it, but they've said July, like the month, but not when. And I want to watch that show, please. Netflix, when? Tell me, please.
So as of now,
July of 2022.
Exactly.
as of now, they still haven't like stated that you can watch Beastars on. I mean, I thought they had the rights to it. Like, why not just release it like they normally do?
I don't know. I just want to watch my animals do their thing, and I'm excited to watch that show. But we have to do a review on it soon. And if they don't, we were going to wait until Netflix, release it to give as much people time to watch it before the review. But if they don't release it soon, we'll just have to forge ahead. So
we will revolt.
More exciting than those announcements are the gamut of new films and shows that will be coming to their service, such as Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway, the first of a trilogy of films, the first part of which is coming July 1st. So fans of Gundam and kind of the meta universe of that, I don't know how canon it is, but I think it's partially canonized. That will be coming out. A new space horror series called Exception with a very creepy looking creature on the promotional image, so that's got me kind of excited. Another horror movie in space, this time on a planet, a movie called Make My Day, which, once again, looks odd, but I'm liking it. They're getting bold. And probably the weirdest entry that they announced that I don't even know how I feel about it, but an anime samurai spin-off of the Will Smith live-action movie called Bright. Oh my god. It's called Bright Samurai Soul. I've never seen Bright. Have you, Mitz?
No, but I don't know. Anytime
it looks terrible.
Anytime I hear Will Smith, like in the last 10 years, I just cringe. It's amazing how some people just like disappear. It's like Will Smith, you can be like the hottest thing ever for, several, like 10 years, and then all of a sudden, boom, no one gives a shit, and everything you make is terrible. And like that's like what happened. I feel like that's what happened to Will Smith. Like he like just poofed, gone.
Yeah, maybe, but it's certainly an ambitious thing. I'm guessing just because Netflix has the right to the live-action Bright movie, that they're like, hey, we have this, I guess, IP that we can just further butcher because no one really cares about that movie. But
yeah,
nonetheless, Netflix is trying another crack at it. We'll see how successful they are.
Yeah, and I haven't watched it yet, but season 4. Just speaking of Netflix, season 4 of Castlevania came out, and Pancake's brother and his girlfriend watched while they were here at my place. They watched all 3 seasons of Castlevania, so they could watch the 4th season, and I think they said it was the best out of any of them. So Castlevania is so fucking good, and if you guys haven't seen it, you absolutely must see it. And it's season 4 apparently is better. It's like just as good as it ever was. So it's I gotta watch that still, and I'm gonna watch it. I'm like running out of midnight stuff, the midnight classics, whatever, on Retro Crush. So I'm gonna have to watch something else. And Retro Crush needs to step it up. Like there's definitely more gritty shit from the 80s you could throw on there. So I don't know what they're doing, but
if
cool.
I had Mitz's soundboard right now, and Mitz is like, "Oh, I need to watch Castlevania season 4," I would do the "Just do it" and play.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. Not
Mason.
my speed, but I've heard nothing but great things about it so far.
Yeah, Mason. Well, you know what?
Just do it.
There you go. Just do it.
There we go.
We'll both do it. Caroline's gonna do it. We're all gonna do it.
Am I?
Caroline's like, "What? Did I volunteer for this?"
Did I volunteer for eating natto? Nope.
Listen, we've discussed this. I never agreed I'd eat natto.
Let's move on.
All right. Well, we're gonna get to our main topic here, which is what have we been watching? So we do this maybe every 6 weeks, where Mitsuki needs a lot of time to watch a few anime here, because I am the weak crippled horse in the group in terms of watching things. But I did watch some stuff this morning just for this topic after I finished watching Skate. So, and I guess I'm gonna kick it off here because I'm gonna weigh in on some other things that you guys have. Oh, Caroline has one on her list that I am very excited about. So I watched the 1988 Appleseed. So I'm really into these late 1980s OVAs right now, still am. And Appleseed is like this series that almost everybody's heard of because it's somewhat famous and the author is pretty famous. But like not much has come out in really a long time from Appleseed. There was like a CG movie that came out maybe 10 years ago. Let me see here. Appleseed. There was
I've only watched the original 1980s version. I haven't watched like the mid 2000s movie.
Yeah, you're right. It's there's the original OVA in 1988, and then there was a movie in 2004, and that's the one I'm talking about. And then there's a movie in 2007. There was a movie in 2015. There's an OVA in 2012. So there's a lot of stuff, but Appleseed just hasn't been. It has like a lot of installments, but it never really gets much acclaim. So I was like, well, why is Appleseed like still persist? And so I went back and I was watching the OVA from the 80s, and it's done by Gainax. So and it's definitely a mecha show to some extent, and it's just another one of these installments of just like cop dramas. Like there's all these cop dramas from the late 80s. There's I've talked about a few of them already. There's multiple Bubblegum Crisis shows, including AD Police. There's Angel Cop. There's
Pat Labor.
Pat Labor. There's Appleseed. There's a ton of these. So Appleseed's another one of these shows from the late 80s about cops, and it's like this futuristic world where human beings have been sort of relegated to like a single city. I think that's like been created after World War III called Olympus, and it's like this paradise on Earth where there's like a 0% unemployment rate. People have all their food, employment, money, everything's provided for them, and then they just kind of that's like the contention of the movie, is that human beings need to have some kind of, they need to strive for something in their lives. Like they need to strive for wealth or success or happiness or whatever. But because this city is such a utopia, they take all sort of the struggles of life away. And so there's like this guy in the movie whose like wife commits suicide because she just can't cope with the fact that life is just like completely 100% controlled by the city or whatever. And so there's like these terrorists that want to like destroy the city. And so humans can go back to, being how they were before, I guess. And then amongst it all, there's these police officers named Dune and Newt, who's like the hot blonde chick that's like in all the Appleseed movies. And then there's Briarios, who's the pointy-eared like rabbit-looking android guy who I said looked an awful lot like the guy from X-Arm.
It looks like the guy from No Guns Life to me.
Oh yeah, totally.
Gun for a head.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're totally right. And they're just like the top of the police force, and so they are, they're not like superhuman the way that like Goku is from Goku Midnight Eye or some of these other shows. Like they're not like the Night Sabers from Bubblegum Crisis. They're a little more like human, I guess, but they're still really talented. And so there's like this sci-fi sort of, there's a lot of mecha stuff in this, and it's pretty interesting. So it's got like a 6.5 on Mao. I'd probably give it like a 7. I mean, I think it's pretty good. It was definitely not boring. I enjoyed it. It was pretty enjoyable. Appleseed. I might give it. Maybe I'll watch the next Appleseed show, whatever that one is, and see if it continues to hold my interest. But it was pretty good. So I'm not going to drone on and on about it. But Caroline, where do you want to start on your list?
We'll start in the middle because the two bottom ones I really don't have all that much to say. So we're gonna start off with what I think you'll be most interested in is Shiki, which I finished up a little while ago, probably like a month and a half ago, but I haven't talked about it on the show yet, so figured that I might as well. So we started this a while ago back in Anime Club. I can't even remember when. Was it like at the beginning of the year, Mason?
Well, I can double check, but it was a hot minute ago.
Well, yeah, it doesn't really matter though. But yeah, so we watched, I think, the first half of it, discussed it, and I was going to finish it so that we could do an extracurricular meeting and discuss the ending, but I didn't finish it on time, so I finally finished it. Hooray, hooray. So yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. The hairstyles were just super wacky. And some of the characters were just like, why did you do this? And what? But it was pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty. Oh, that drop is not on hand. I'm sorry, but
Oh no!
come
You were
on,
too
man.
late,
Come on.
Caroline.
I've got over 100 drops here. How am I supposed to find anything?
Well, that's
We
why.
did Shiki in mid-March.
Oh yeah, so I guess it wasn't as long ago as I thought it was, but still 3 months ago. Yeah, so I'm glad I finally watched it because it's been on my watch list for a while. And I'm still kind of going back and forth on if I liked the ending or not, because there's a certain kind of villainous character that doesn't really get her comeuppance. And you can say like, oh, but she's just doing what she does to survive. And I'm like, I don't care. She killed people. So
Well
yeah.
then.
What did you think about Mitsuki?
Well, it was actually the next one on your list that I'm interested in talking about.
Oh, because Mason said that you really liked Shiki.
No, I was saying Crest of the Stars.
Crest of the Stars is one of my favorite animes of all time.
Oh my gosh, I'm down for 2 then. So
Yeah.
I'll talk about them after. Maybe somebody else should go.
Mason, how did you feel about Lupin the Third's episode 0, which I think I recommended to you?
Yeah, this was, what was it, 2 or 3 episodes ago where we were talking about the Lupin announcements, and you were like, oh, Lupin the Third, episode 0, the first contact is like one of your favorites. And that was like, I mean, there's lots of Lupin I haven't seen, but this was one of them, so I put it on my list. It was like a 1-hour OVA movie thing. It was good. It was definitely classic Lupin. It definitely was not as like slapsticky and like Scooby-Doo-esque as a lot of Lupin is, which kind of rubs me the wrong way. This was a nice kind of pseudo alternative look into the origins of the friendships and I guess rivalries in between the Lupin characters, and it was fun and engaging. There was a couple like slight mistakes with like, one time Fujiko would walk into a room in like full motorcycle gear, and the next shot her like cleavage is out and her helmet's off, and then the next shot it's like zipped back up and her helmet's back on. It was like just slight editing mistakes like that. But besides that, overall it was definitely a strong installment into the Lupin franchise, and I'm glad I checked it out.
So I recall the beginning of that OVA has like a very strong like first 10 minutes. But it's been a while. I mean, would you say that's pretty much accurate? Like it's very, very like exciting and
yeah, it gets right to it while still like introducing you to all the characters, and it had like a lot of moments that I was like, oh, that was like a nice callback to what I will go on to know about Lupin. Like the more you watch Lupin, the more either past or present you can kind of appreciate all the like in jokes and ties and lore behind, oh, where did this powerful sword come from? And it really just adds to the repertoire of appreciating all the elements at play. So I'm definitely glad you recommended it. And it's really well animated from what I remember.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Lupin the Third episode 0. I Lupin the Third's so great. It's one of those things where it's like if you get into Lupin the Third, you almost never run out of content. There's so much of it. I mean, it's hundreds of episodes, dozens of movies, and it's this is a good one to kind of jumpstart people's fandoms. So, back to me, I introduced Pancake to Iria, the 1994 sci-fi anime that I'm very sort of thinking about an anime sell from, but they're very expensive. Iria, of course, has one of my favorite female characters ever in it. Iria is really a cool character, and I haven't talked about this in quite a while. It almost never comes up. Like, this is totally, like, almost, it feels like a forgotten property, but 6-episode OVA done by Ashi Productions way back in the early 90s, and it's about these bounty hunters that take on a space mission to, like, investigate a cargo ship that gets just sort of stranded in space, and they find out that the cargo on the ship is like this internationally wanted criminal named Zerum, who's like notorious for being immortal. There's all these rumors like, oh, he's immortal. Like, is it even a he? Like, is it human? Like, what is it? But like an unstoppable killing machine. And they discovered that they're transporting Zerum, and there's just like, it just starts off with so much action, and the sci-fi in it is so great, and characters in the show die, so you kind of wonder like, ooh, if like people can die, like anybody could die. So it gets kind of like, has some stakes to it, and it's just like this like battle through space between Iria and Zerum, and it's totally just neat. And Iria is she's so like, I love the character designs in this. The opening theme song is totally just of its time. That's the only way I could describe it. Like, you can almost hear it and just go,
trance.
It's like trance music. It's like, this is like early 90s, like, boom. I know exactly what time period this is from. But Iria has like, she's so like, such a sexy character, but she would just totally whoop the shit out of you. I'm trying to think of like another character that would be like that. It's almost like a Revy type, but she's not like psychotic like Revy. And I think I find her a lot more attractive than Revy also. But we only watched. I've seen Iria. I've seen this OVA probably 6 times, but Pancake had never seen it, so we watched the first episode, and they run about 30 minutes apiece. So we watched a couple of the episodes, and I really recommend it. Like, if people like sci-fi and you want to go back and watch a sci-fi show, since they never really seem to make hardly any sci-fi nowadays, it seems like. Iria Zerum, the animation is really solid. And someone on the Twitch asked me a question. It was Captain Avatar asked. It wasn't Captain Avatar. Who was it here? Captain Avatar asked if I'd ever seen the live action Iria. Yes, I have, and it's terrible. Is what I would say. It's really horrible. Yeah. So but yeah, Iria is like one of my favorite sci-fi shows. It's got a 7 on Mal, but to me it's more like an 8. So I think it's really really strong. But if anybody finds any like high quality Iria cells for less than like $500, let me know, because that seems to be what they go for.
Just think of it as an investment. You buy the nice cell, you put it up behind you, and everyone sees it and they ask you about it, and the love grows. So really, do it for Iria. I believe in you.
There are some Iria cells of her like direct face, but they're very pricey. So, how about back to Caroline?
All right, let's see. What should I talk about next? I guess I'll go to Joran then. So this was a show that I did not pass for review, specifically because it just goes all over the place, and I felt like I was the only person that was kind of liking it despite its problems. I'm not entirely caught up on the show. I think there's like 11 out of the 12 episodes out right now. I'm on episode 8. And yeah, the confusion continues. It just goes in so many different directions, and the pace is just so fast that it's hard to keep up with, especially when you don't really understand the motivations of the characters, because it's like, oh, plot twist, I'm on this side, and oh, plot twist, this person's still alive, and oh, plot twist, this person's now dead. And I'm like, oh my god, it's getting a little exhausting, but I'm really just watching it because it just looks so darn good. And yeah, at least I can just take it for what it is there. So Mason, you mentioned Joran, that you were interested in hearing about it.
No.
Oh, I thought you pointed it out on my list.
Oh my goodness.
Did I? Never mind.
No, not really. I mean, I was interested, like, maybe in like a couple of weeks once the season is over, if we wanted to do some like review of like all the shows that we're not doing reviews of, but like are coming out this season that we think might be worthwhile.
Oh.
That might be interesting. Because there's like 10 shows from this season that we won't be doing a review of, but I'm still like, I want to talk about Backflip or those Snow White notes or this or that, and we'll see.
We'll see. But kind of just put a wrench into that.
But does Joran still look good?
It does still look good.
Well, that's good, because that's one of the, I feel like, the big cruxes of why you were like engaged with it, was that it looked really interesting.
Yeah, and I am not feeling entirely hopeful that it will stick the landing, but we'll see what happens.
There you go. You gotta risk it sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I haven't seen Joran, so, Mason, how about back to you? Do you have what is your next most exciting title you want to discuss?
Next most exciting one is pretty much a direct call out to someone in the comments who was like, Mason's so annoying. He only talks about obscure shows that nobody cares about. And they're not wrong. Like, that's exactly what I do in this segment. But really, it's not that no one cares about them. It's like maybe 8 people care about them. Maybe 4 of them have seen it before, and 2 of them are like, wow, I can't believe someone's talking about this. And 2 of them are like, I can't believe Mason's now just getting around to it. Then the other 4 people are like, I'm just going to watch it because it sounds interesting. And maybe only one of those people will like it. And this is for that one person who might be sort of interested in this thing, which is an old school OVA from 1989 called Gosenzo-sama Banzai, aka
What?
Long Live the Ancestors. And this is a directorial piece by Oshii, who obviously did Ghost in the Shell and a ton of other stuff. And this is one of the most fascinating and intriguingly done anime I've ever seen. And if you just like, not so much like caring about the stories, but just the craft of making anime, this is certainly an interesting experience because it is, it feels like you're watching a play. Like, essentially, every character in this looks and moves like a puppet, and the camera just stays like head on the entire time, and each character like will come out and like monologue with like a spotlight shining down on them, and they'll break out into songs, and then they go back. It's like a very interesting visual display. And each episode starts off with animal fun facts. So it'll be like a 3-minute clip about them talking about some like migratory bird or some weird like reptile, and these animals are acted out by human characters in animal costumes. And you'll learn about like the life of a penguin and like how the father has to, huddle over the egg for warmth. And it has nothing to do with the show. It just is the opening bit. And then it gets into the show itself, which is the story of a father, a mother, and their son, Inumaru, who's like 17 years old. And one day, this beautiful girl comes knocking on their front door, and she says, "Hey, hey, 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 Inumaru, this 17-year-old, I'm your granddaughter from the future, and I've come back to visit my ancestors and live with you guys and see what life is like." And because she's so beautiful, the family's like, well, she's kind of, nice and respectable. Let's take her in. And what follows is just a mad dash of JoJo star birthmark buttholes
What?
and just the police cracking down because international or interstellar time travel is not allowed, and just like manipulation and like weird family dynamics. It's like simultaneously a dense show, but with like meta commentary on like what it means to be a family and like the illusion of like your legacy through generations. And it's got this weird like product placement where like it is so like in your face that it doesn't even follow like, or it doesn't feel like product placement. It just is a giant like Coke sign or something. And it's so bizarre. It's not for everyone, certainly, but if you are a fan of like very off-kilter and unique works of anime, it's worth checking out. It's only 6 episodes, and it's almost indescribable, but I really enjoyed it.
Does this predate? Did you say this? Was this Oshii's first directorial work?
It's not his first. I think Dallas was his first. I think that was a OVA, but this is certainly near the beginning of his thing.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
this is after Yurusei Yatsura. This is after Angel's Egg, after Pat Labor. Uh, yeah, and before he did like Jinro and Ghost in the Shell, and it has a very just mood to it, and it's very talk heavy, but with a lot of energy. And I guarantee if you watch 1 episode or 2, you'll either be all in or like, this was horrendous, I don't want to watch anymore. So it's very quick to know if it's your thing or not. But for the one person who might enjoy it, that's Gosenzo-sama Banzai.
Man, Mamoru
That's a
Oshii
mouthful.
has directed so many works. I mean, if you look through his credits, it's like he's just directed a ton of stuff. I mean,
Yeah, and essentially I found this because he recently did Vlad Love, which is another off the rails kind of like comedy piece, and that, while it looked great, just did not click with me. All the humor and stuff, just, it was not vibing, and I feel like he was maybe kind of going for something like this, and I'm not sure, but it's cool seeing him not expand, because he's always had this talent, but not be pigeonholed into, oh, he's the guy who did that serious sci-fi thing and that's all he's allowed to do. So, good show.
All right, Mason's coming to the table with more exotic anime titles.
Sorry.
You gotta maintain your reputation, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I have another sort of unheard of show here that I watched this morning, and it wasn't very good. Metal Skin Panic, Maddox 01.
Sounds interesting.
Is another OVA from the late 80s, done by Studio AIC, and it's like this. They're trying to create this revolutionary sort of brand new technology that's like a battle armor. So it's basically like a mech, like a mobile suit, and it's the beginning is kind of neat because the opening credits of it are like showing some of the construction of the suit, and they show like the mech, like the pilot will move his finger, and then they show how it moves the suit, or they'll show like how it's put, how like the pilot puts the suit on, or they're showing some of like the mechanical functions of it, and it's kind of neat. But there's like this kid, like what the hell is his name even? Like I don't even know if they mention his name really, but this kid, like he gets into the suit and he like starts messing around with it, and he ends up like getting inside of it and gets locked inside of it, and then he can't really control the suit properly, so he's just kind of like zooming around and destroying things haphazardly in downtown Tokyo, like just like flying through like storefronts and just destroying buildings, and
kids.
It's just like this really sort of mindless show. It's not. I would definitely say it wasn't anywhere near as good as Appleseed, and I kind of put it on just following that, but it's like a 42-minute OVA, and it's just kind of more. I was like, have I seen every anime that has the word metal and panic in the title? Because there's like a bunch of them. How many?
Yeah, I thought I misread this at first. I was like, Full Metal Skin Panic? Wait, no, this is something else.
Well, there's Full Metal Panic, and there's Strawberry Panic. There's a bunch of Full Metal Panics. And then there's I'm looking here. Full results for the word panic. How many other anime are there with the word panic in the title?
Paniku.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a bunch of Full Metal Panic. Chocolate Panic. Icon Onsen Panic.
Oh boy.
Milky Panic 12. Yeah.
But it's like, but if you type the word panic in on like my anime list, it doesn't even find Full Metal Skin Panic. So like it's not even in here. So there's got to be a ton more that have the same title. Panic X Panic. There's just like a ton of these. So I think I've seen them all pretty much, but this was not really all that good.
Panicking. Panic at the Disco, the animation.
Oh God. So, yeah, it's just another one of those like old 80s like anime for people who are just like nerds about mecha, but it's kind of like less serious and sort of like a whimsical kind of just goofy sort of show. So, but if you want to watch it, it's called Metal Skin Panic, Maddox 01. I don't really know if it's all that worth it, but if you're looking for something to watch from the 80s, it may be worth checking out. All right, Caroline.
Okay, finally going to talk about the thing that I've actually finished, like, today, and that would be Re:Zero. Did not get to the second part of the second season just yet, because I believe that's next week's review. But let me just say, I am patting myself on the back here for catching up to this point without having left it to the last minute. Yes, thank you, children. And just having it all planned out, and it worked out perfectly. So yeah, I just finished up until the end of the first core of the second season this morning, and I do enjoy Re:Zero. I think it's interesting, and I do know that a lot of people say like, oh, it's overrated. Subaru's annoying. A lot of crying.
Well,
which is true, but I don't know. I like Subaru. Odo is best boy. Oh my god, how much I love him. Like over the past couple of days, I just realized this is my guy. This is my character. Yeah, he's great.
He does really come through at the in like that last season towards the end of it.
I mean, just him calling Subaru his friend just made me like, man, love you.
Subaru's so good because like we just reviewed Jobless Reincarnation. I don't know if you watched that, Caroline, but
nope.
The main character is like he's a neat, just like Subaru. I think Subaru's a neat, and like this other guy, I don't remember his name, but the guy from Jobless Reincarnation, he is such a fucking dirtbag. I mean, it's unbelievable what a dirtbag this guy is. And Subaru, it could have been like a dirtbag, but he's like just like a more or less like a good kid. Like he's not, I think he's like not
he's
a great.
He's trying his best.
He's trying his best. Like he wasn't maybe the best in real life, but he's not like bad in the anime. Whereas in Jobless Reincarnation, he's like just horrible in both cases. So.
Yeah, and at the very least, it seems at least Subaru has character development, and I listened to your review, and it does not sound like the main character of Jobless Reincarnation has much development.
No, we'll see. It's not over yet.
I guess. But I would say that sometimes I did get confused along the way because, with so many like restarts, you kind of lose track on what actually happens in the storyline that actually occurs altogether and what happens in an alternate storyline and all that. And then there's the witches, which I have to say, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say this. Up until yesterday, I was completely confused between the Witch of Envy and the Witch of Greed, of which I thought they were basically the same person. Because when they will talk about, what's her name, like Echidna or whatever, she's like the Witch of Greed. I thought that she was the Witch of Envy and that was the witch that people got Amelia and her mixed up between. Because she has the white hair, she has the purplish eyes. I thought that was her. So when, some things occur and it's like, wait a minute, we're talking about the Witch of Envy now? Wait, isn't that her? And we're like, oh no, it's Greed. Frack!
There's too many witches.
Now just imagine there was a 4-year gap between watching season 1 and 2.
Yes, I can only imagine. But yeah,
tough.
And now I feel like, well, I have completely messed up my thoughts on the show because these are two very important characters that I misunderstood for the majority of the show. So I'm just gonna have to, just put that to the side and try to reestablish myself. But yeah, so I have to say, I find myself loving Rosewall despite the fact that I know he's like a bad guy, I guess. I mean, like, that's not really a spoiler. He has the character design of a bad guy. But his voice actor, which I know is the voice actor for Adam in Skate, I love him in this one. Not in Skate, but I love him in ReZero because he goes like, for whatever reason, like his cadence and how he talks in this show, I find it hilarious.
That's how all his characters, not all of them, obviously, but that's kind of his typecast role. Yeah. It's the same guy who does Theo from JoJo, and we'll talk about that when we get to our review.
He goes like, and I'm like, I don't know what that means, but
Dane.
He's always just like mimicking people, or sounds like it. So
Deshoka.
Yeah,
it's very like yeah, he has like a strange affect to how he talks. So
yeah. So needless to say, I'm enjoying ReZero. Amelia is great. I love her. So is Rem. I don't really know why people hate Amelia so much. I like her.
Do they hate her?
Rem's good. Yeah, people are like, why are we talking about Amelia? Rem is best girl. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it's just because they're obsessed with Rem. They were like,
we all know that the best girl is Patrice, or however you say her name, the dragon steed or whatever you call it.
That
yeah.
They ride.
Well, when you consider the army of people willing to whip it out and defile their Rem and Rom figures, like in the privacy of Jesus. woo, then you understand why there's like this strange rivalry between Amelia and Rem, I guess.
Yeah. But
so
Ram can nobody likes Ram, I guess.
So I don't know.
I'm holding my tongue on this waifu debate.
I love how in this show everyone is like 5 seconds from killing Subaru for no reason. Like, how many times has his allies actually killed him just for saying like one wrong thing? It's just it just
kind
makes
of had
me
it
laugh.
coming though. He kind of had it coming.
So in some cases, yes, but there's just so many instances like that. I'm thinking to myself, why is everyone 2 steps away from killing him?
My opinion on ReZero has kind of shifted towards Yellow Flax, I guess, and on Twitch, where they think that the show is the most interesting when Subaru's dying. And I think my opinion on ReZero is slowly shifting towards, like, the show is a little too wordy and a little too narrative heavy, and it's almost
there's a lot of words in that,
to the extent that it's almost boring, and you're just kind of waiting for the next like bloodbath to happen. I recall like being pretty much lulled to sleep that last season, and then my spoiler alert, I guess, although it barely matters. And then when he gets like eaten by those rabbits, I was like wide awake.
God.
I was like wide awake again. But it's like until that happened, I was like pretty much just like totally nodding off, I guess. And it was kind of.
I really do think.
Like I'm just like oh. It's like, oh wait, what? Like what? Rabbits? The rabbits from Monty Python are coming to kill him, and then I'm like wide awake again. But we'll see.
The rabbits, I think, were probably the most brutal death of just gore and gross.
But I do think that like the end of season 2, the end of season 2 part 1, I guess it was. I lose track of them honestly. Was like pretty strong. So.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty much Otto just like spouting how much Subaru needs to like let me help you. I mean, it kind of like the very last scene was pretty. I wouldn't end a season off of it, but I guess that's why it's too core.
Oh, I guess what I meant was the beginning of the second part of season 2 was strong, which is why I think I probably passed it. So.
Yes, I can. Yes.
Yeah, it was very strong, and I was like, do I really want to watch more ReZero? I don't really think so. But then it was like so compelling that I like had no choice. I had to pass it. I think I passed it.
Wasn't it listener's choice?
I think it was listener's choice.
Well, whatever. I wanted to
pass
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you did get me a little bit afraid because I was checking out the website, which is where we kind of have our schedule of what shows we're reviewing and stuff. So, and it said ReZero Season 3 Part 2, and I'm looking, I'm like, wait a minute, there's a Season 3?
We are in Season 3.
I'm a little bit, yeah, because I was a little bit unaware of, like, just how much ReZero there was. So I'm like thinking to myself, so I have to get through another season by next week, plus the Part 2. I'm just like, man, yeah, it was a lot. So I'm glad that I double-checked my anime list.
I'm fixing it right now, but I just lost track.
Yeah, that's fine. I figured it was some sort of typo or just something like that, but I did get a little nervous for a sec.
I got to check when the summer seasons kicks off because we need to do our picks soon. And
oh my God, is it that time already?
Yeah, it is. It's coming up. So it looks like the summer season starts like, let's see, when is the earliest release date from summer that they've got on here? Oh, well, pretty much starts the first week of July. So we're gonna need to do this really soon.
Nice.
I may need to shuffle things around. It may happen next week. We'll see. Okay, so Mason, we only really have time for one more. Why don't you pick your favorite and we'll go with that.
And we'll go real quick. We'll do Armitage 3, which maybe you have seen? ?
I have doubts, honestly, but
Armitage is a 4-episode OVA from the mid-90s, and it's starring this like cyberpunk badass robot who looks like she took the style of Vash from Trigun and just dressed it up a bit with the coolest sunglasses of all time. And it's one of those like, mid-90s kind of intersection of the Venn diagram between like Battle Angel Alita and Ghost in the Shell. Like, it's your classic OVA of like a fun romp between like humans versus robot storylines with these like super retro electronic beat soundtracks that just amazing. And it's definitely not as like overly violent or sexualized as other stuff from that era. It's not as like schlocky, but it's a good primer to that era. So if someone was like, ooh, I don't know about like this region of anime, this aesthetic, like what's a good starting show? I'd probably recommend this one because it's only 4 episodes and it gets to the point and it's pretty well done. I mean if you like that era, definitely check it out. But it was a little like the first episode was fantastic, but after that it kind of didn't do as much with the concept as I was looking for. Besides that though, very stylish, very cool looking, and it was a pretty good time.
I thought I had seen something from Armitage, but it's not this one. I don't think so.
So there was like a sequel movie that came out that I haven't seen because I've heard it definitely does not hold up as well. But this is one of those AIC studios, and it's stylish. Like the gifts from it look a little bit better than the show itself, but it has its moments. I'd recommend at least watching episode 1 for you, Mitz. I think you'd enjoy it.
I think I looked for it on Retro Crush. It wasn't on there, so I felt sad for a moment, and then I was like, oh, well.
I think it's on Funimation.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
And it's called Armitage 3. There isn't like an Armitage 1 or 2. It just starts with that. So do it. But yeah, it's on Funimation, so check it out.
I think we are going to have to do our picks from next week next week because I have a guest.
Yeah, buddy.
Caroline's out, and I have a guest lined up for the 27th, so we're going to have to do...
Caroline's here. Yeah. She'll be here
next
week.
Yeah, it's the 27th.
Yeah, so the guest is a secret, but I just cleared off the selection document, so there you go. Time to go in there.
Getting things done, multitasking.
Oh, yeah, time to go in there and
it.
make our picks, which I love. I love doing our picks, so it's always fun. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, boy. Well, we're already at the news break. Yeah.
Almost time for our game.
Yep. So,
But first, we're going to have our weekly trivia question.
yeah, hit me with it.
In SK8 the Infinity, what is the name of the skateboarding shop that Reki works at? And then we will reveal the answer right after the news break.
It has the most skateboard name ever.
Mm-hmm. It does
See
indeed.
you guys. Anime Addicts Mitsuki is here, and I'm bringing you your anime news break, starting us off with a couple new anime adaptation announcements, including one from Netflix. At Netflix's Geeked event this past Thursday, they announced a new anime original series titled Exception. The synopsis: in a distant future, human beings have been forced to leave Earth and migrate to another galaxy. An advanced team of spacecraft arrives at a planet that is to be terraformed, and each member of the team is output by a biological 3D printer. This coming from Netflix itself. They got some pretty good staff working on the property. They got Yuzo Sato of Gatchaman Crowds as assistant director over at Tatsunoko Productions. They have some pretty interesting live action and novelist directors. Otsuichi of Adachi Hirotaka, Goth, and Kizu is going to be penning the original story. And probably the biggest name involved, Yoshitaka Amano, who is famous for his work with Vampire Hunter D and also a lot of the Final Fantasy promotional art, is designing the characters. So it's a pretty interesting announcement. Netflix has announced that they're partnering with 6 Japanese creators to develop new anime originals, including this Otsuichi. So if you're a fan of anime on Netflix, look out for Exception coming up pretty soon. And also a new anime adaptation announcement, a property called High Card, which is going to be a multimedia project done with collaborations by Kadokawa, Pachinko maker Sammy Corp, and also TMS Entertainment. There's going to be an anime, manga, and novel involved, and the title of the property High Card is a reference to the the hand in poker in which you have not even one pair, in which the high card in your hand would be the best you've got. So Kakurui manga author Homura Kawamoto and Hikaru Muno are going to be credited as the original creators for this. So if you're a fan of their works, if you're a fan of, I guess, gambling and poker, look out for High Card coming up, multimedia project from TMS Entertainment in Kadokawa. Next up, a YouTube channel was launched by Naoki Urasawa, the creator of Monster, Master Keaton, and 20th Century Boys. So it is going to be focusing on and informing people about his current works, his life as a manga artist, and also to share drawing tips. The channel has English subtitles for those of you that want to check it out. In his most recent video, he posted instruction on how to draw lines with a ruler, which is considered a basic manga technique, and other things as well. So if you're pretty interested in the creator of Monster, 20th Century Boys, Pluto, etc., his work, his life, and what's coming up, and maybe some tips on drawing, check out Naoki Urasawa's YouTube channel where you'll be able to learn a lot more. Next up and lastly in the news, a very interesting piece. The Heritage Auctions is holding the first major auction for anime art, and it's happening on June 25th to the 27th. It's going to include 928 different lots of anime cells, and is described as the first auction held by a major U.S. auction house to focus on anime art materials. It's going to have selections from the GLAD Anime Museum collection, which is created by photographer and film creator Mike Glad. His collection of over 300 different pieces of art, and also works from Osamu Tezuka's Astro Boy, Ghibli films, and Akira are also major works being represented at the auction. So there's some samples online you can view from YouTube from Heritage Auctions. And quote, with 928 lots, this is going to be the world's largest auction to feature top-grade anime, manga, and even classic American animations. From feature films to television series, the sale is packed with iconic series and characters. So I'm pretty excited that this is happening. Maybe it'll mean that more properties will be available on the market in the future for others to buy. And if you're interested, go check out the Heritage Auctions YouTube page. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. And now, time to get back to the podcast right now. Oh God, I hate this song. It's so annoying. Skip ad. Skip.
Hi, it's Vince with
Oh,
Sham
fuck
Wow.
no.
You'll be saying wow
I'll be
every
saying,
time you use this
wow, you're so
towel.
fucking
It's
annoying.
Like a chamois,
It's a
like
chamois, it's a
like
towel.
a
Who
regular
really
towel
cares?
doesn't work
Skip. Anime addicts, do you miss ads like that? Do you miss your buddy Vince from ShamWow? Of course you don't, because we don't torture you with ads like that. Instead, if you want to support the podcast, you can help us stay ad-free by going to aaapodcast.com/join. Hey, you can head over to patreon.com/aaapodcast for those of you that like Patreon. And you're going to get our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, our after parties. And, of course, it's going to be commercial-free, so you get all that. What else could you possibly want? Again, over at aaapodcast.com/join. Thank you for your support.
And now, great moments in Anime Addicts Anonymous history.
So my next one is Island, which was not originally one of my top 5. It just kind of came into my lap because
I'm excited to hear about this.
Because like the way the pics fell out. One of the comments on my anime list, I think says this best. It is from a user LightKita13, and he or she says, this island is about an island. The main character, Island, travels back in time to an island. He meets an island girl on the island named Island who sings about the island.
Yes.
On the island, he sexually islands another island girl named Island.
That's fantastic.
This island is about an island. The scenery features an island depiction of an island. The voice actors sound like islands and have islanders living on the island. This island is about an islander who needs islanders who go through Icelandic problems on an island in the middle of an island. Everything about this island is so island. This island is about an island.
Sounds like a Steam review.
I am failing the shit out of this show.
Out of 5, how many islands are you gonna give it?
I'm gonna give it an island within the island, in which making it not really an island at all.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Oh, I miss them. Oh gosh, I miss them.
Hula dancing, our way back from the news break. Our question, let's see here. In SK8 the Infinity, aka Skateboarding is Fun, the anime, what is the name of the skateboarding shop that Reki works at? the most skateboarding name ever, Dope Sketch.
We had a lot of pretty good skate name suggestions on our Twitch stream, including Wreck Skateboard Shop, very simple and safe. We got Wheels and Steels, Skate Mart, Skateboard City, Board Boars. We got one dope sketch that was from Ass Hearts.
Ass Hearts.
Very
nice.
I'm sorry. Ass Hearts 9 to be exact. We got Skate with the 8, Board Shop, and a few others. We got Skater Boy, Avril Lavigne. So yeah, a lot of good ones there.
How in the hell is Yami Shibai getting a 9th season? How? How is this possible?
Because when it takes 17 minutes to make the season,
God.
you might as well.
But like, really?
A lot of spooky stuff out there. I guess good source material.
I'm looking at the summer season, and it is pretty sparse. I mean, it is not.
We
We've
ate
had a
like
couple good
gluttons
seasons so
the
far.
last. Yeah, we ate like gluttons the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
We need to go on a diet of quality.
Well,
Maybe this is the season for. We had a season great for sequels, a season great for originals, and a season great for some awful anime. So let's see if that will come about.
all right. Well, we're gonna head over to Caroline's. Gonna play a game here. Caroline's Game Corner.
Yeah.
And are we handling this a la the same method that we do? Does Mitsuki's mom know, more or less?
I
Yes,
believe so.
indeed.
All right.
This is
Well,
our first time trying it, so
all right.
let us know when we can jump on over.
I'm jumping over right now.
All right, so we are in Caroline's Game Corner, yay! And we are joined by a person known as Salmons on our Discord. Hello?
Hey, AAOs.
Hey!
Hello there.
How's it going?
Good. Ready to brave this gauntlet of questions you have ready for me.
Well, I'm glad that you have signed up because this is a newer thing. Today we are going to be taking on some general anime trivia. Though for the future, I think it might be good if we get our contestants to submit their name if they would like to be on this game show, and an anime of their choice, of their specialty, that they feel like they know quite a bit about. And then we will base our trivia questions off of that. We will grill you to our best.
Wow.
But today it's going to be general trivia because I did not prepare very far in advance for this.
So in the future you're gonna like take people at their strongest and break them down?
That's the idea. Yes,
Oh, wow.
I think there's like this British game show called Mastermind that does something similar. For at least one part of their show, they have their contestants bring in a topic of their choice that they have to be quizzed on. So maybe something a little bit like that, but we shall see. So yes, Caroline's Game Corner today will be taken on by Salmons, who will be given a series of 6 general trivia questions that he may or may not know the answer to, but we will make it multiple choice, so at least there's a chance. And I am sorry in advance because I have a very, very bad habit of making very hard trivia questions. Mason had to reel me back more than once on some of these questions to make it a little bit better for our contestant here. But yes, are you ready to play for the glory and the honor and our admiration?
Let's give it a shot.
Okay, let's get started. Okay, so our first question here. How long after the premiere of the first Full Metal Alchemist did Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood premiere? Is it A, 6.5 years, B, 5.5 years, or C, 4.5 years? Are you a Full Metal Alchemist fan?
I remember the old one back in the day on Toonami, or was it Adult Swim?
I think it
Yes,
was
this
Adult
is a
Swim.
very hard question.
I'm gonna say 5.5 years.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
You'd be correct.
Oh wow!
Congratulations.
Several people on the Twitch got that wrong. I would note.
Yes, you got ass hearts.
Ass hearts.
Sorry.
Try harder next time.
Okay, so congrats. You got 1 out of 1 so far. Let's move on to the second question, shall we? Now, which out of the following anime this season have the most amount of members on my anime list? Is it A, Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, B, Tokyo Revengers, or C, To Your Eternity?
Oh, this one I feel really confident about. It's Nagatoro.
I'm sorry. You are incorrect.
Oh my god.
What?
Yes,
Thank
it's
goodness.
it's To Your Eternity.
Oh, she's right. Wow. By less than 1%. That's crazy.
Yes, it was definitely a close one. So, but you got half the questions correct so far. So
Yeah.
there's still hope for you.
Do we have any threshold of passing that we're putting on Salmon's hair?
I mean, I'd say half. So I guess 3 questions out of the 6 that we have.
Okay.
That's brutal.
So
Real quick, Caroline. To Your Eternity has 394,000 people marked as watching on my anime list, and Nagatoro has 392,700. So it's only 1,300 difference out of nearly 400,000. So that's pretty brutal. Wow.
yeah, I'm sorry.
I
I'm
would
a
have guessed.
brutal.
I would have guessed Miss Nagatoro as well. So don't feel too bad.
Well, I think it was in front, but I think like the legend of To Your Eternity is spreading, and so people are watching it. It gained ground. So.
As I have mentioned, I'm a brutal person when it comes to quizzing. I'd like to make sure that people around here are in tip-top shape. So I guess we're gonna have to move on to our third question, which I think is definitely a little bit easier. But let's see if you can get it correct. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so question number 3. What color fur does Doraemon have? Is it red, green, or blue?
It's blue, right?
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Yeah, I was just
That
seeing
was a
if
softball.
yeah, it was a softball, but sometimes with these kind of simple questions, it's kind of like, oh, where's the mustard in the fridge, and it's right in front of your face, you can't find it anywhere, kind of thing.
Softball for soft fur.
Yes.
Well,
Are
nice
you-
job, Salmons. 2 for 3.
Yes, you are doing quite well. But are you ready for question number 4, which is a little bit harder?
Yeah, this is hard.
Let's do it.
Okay, so are you a Mamoru Miyano fan?
I know the name. What do they do?
They're in several things. So yeah, he voice acted in several things. He's one of
Oh.
Mandy's favorites.
Token Rambu voice actor?
Actually, don't know. He's in a ton of stuff, so he probably. But that's what the question is going to be about. Which of these anime was Mamoru Miyano not in? Is it A, Kisniver, B, Aka 13, or C, Durarara? Which I guess this one would be pretty hard for anyone because he's in so many things. But if you are not a huge follower of Mamoru Miyano, it might be just based on luck here.
The Twitch is trying to help you out, but they were also wrong the last time. So.
I'm not looking at that.
Have you seen any of these anime?
Seen Durarara. The other two, Kisniver, I think I've seen an episode or 2. I don't think that... I'm pretty sure he was in Durarara. If there's one I could guess that he was in, it's probably that one.
Well,
Haven't-
okay. We're asking for the one that he was not in, though.
Yeah. So I've eliminated one, maybe. The other two... What was the second one? I hadn't seen that one before.
Aka 13 is like about this guy who lives in this fantastical country. He goes around, he like
He
inspects.
smokes and eats bread.
Yeah, he smokes and eats bread. There's a lot of bread in this anime.
I gotta go with. Yeah, it's possible he was in Kisniver. I think I'm gonna go with Aka 13.
I'm sorry, that was incorrect. So, right now you are. I believe it's 2 out of 4 or 4 out of 2 out of 4. Yeah.
2 out of 4. The correct answer was Kisniver, by the way. You were correct
yeah.
that he was not in Durarara.
So, are you now ready for question number 5?
I like this next one.
Okay, so you are 2 for 4 or 4. I don't really know how that works. You have 2
4,
questions
you have
correct
a 50%
out of 4.
chance.
Yes. So
Okay.
a lot is riding on this question. What is not a listed genre on my anime list? Is it A, demons, B, gambling, or C, dementia?
Wow.
Gambling, demons, or dementia?
Yes. So what is not a listed genre? What is
Well-
sounds just, what could it not be?
Well, there's lots of gambling anime. I also feel like the dementia one's a bit of a trick one. Like, it's just really weird, and it's probably on there for some strange reason. But demons are a popular. You know what? I think I got to go for demons. Final answer.
I'm sorry. That's not correct.
Oh no. Oh no, that was my guess as well. Just in case you to make you feel better, I also thought it'd be demons. Wow.
Surprisingly, the answer is gambling. There is
What?
not.
What?
It's not listed on my anime list.
Oh my god.
So I'm not sure what kaiji is under. I didn't even check. But yeah,
Kakegurui.
yeah. But at least that one's like ecchi and school, whatever that means. But yes. So as of this moment, you have 2 out of 5.
Wow.
So if you can get this next question correct, we will call that a win. Are you ready?
Just so you know,
Alright.
Kakegurui, which is clearly a gambling anime, is listed as quote game.
Oh, so is that what they're putting gambling
Get
under
wrecked.
nowadays?
That's very yeah.
Yeah.
I'll add extra stakes on this and say if you get this last one right, not only do you win Caroline's Game Corner, but you'll win my friendship for this
Oh wow.
question.
That's the true
So-
prize.
That's
Whoa.
a lot. Do you know how much money Louis the Cat on Discord would put down for Mason's friendship? Probably a whole $1.
Oh, maybe.
Oh my
Maybe.
god.
I'd
That's
be
high
raking it
stakes.
in.
Well, he's been trying to bribe Mason for a very long time, so it might be true. So let's get to this last question, shall we?
All right.
Which of these Masaki Yuasa works is the oldest? Is it A, the Tatami Galaxy, B, Ping Pong the Animation, or C, Kaiba? Have you seen any of these?
To be honest, no, but I've heard the names. So, Tatami Galaxy, I feel like that one was really recent. Ping Pong the anime, I think people were talking about that maybe 3 years ago. But the third one I haven't heard at all. I think I'm gonna guess that one.
You're gonna guess Kaiba?
Kaiba.
Final answer?
Yes.
Torture the poor guy.
Well, what can I say? I'm a torturer. You would be correct. Congratulations. You win Caroline's Game Corner today.
Omedeto. Omedeto.
Omedetou gozaimasu.
Omedeto. Omedeto.
What are you going to do with all that sweet, sweet admiration and glory?
I really liked that last Mitsuki's mom knows guy. I'm gonna put it in the bank.
Put it in the bank?
There you go.
Save it up? Save it for a rainy day?
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice, efficient way to do things. So thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, maybe we'll see you next time on Caroline's Game Corner.
Heck yeah, heck yeah.
All right, thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Man, I might have to make a another thing in the mailbag thing for people to submit for that, so they can put their favorite show down, etc., etc.
Or we can just do it through Discord. We don't have to go all out with it.
Well, whatever you want.
Just another
We'll see what
reason to
happens.
join the Discord. You
Exactly.
can participate in these game corners, and I think the plan is to have them quite varied and have lots of different styles. So
I'm going to try my best. Sometimes it gets a little bit hard to keep it to something that a lot of people can do across the board. But, we are open to suggestions. If you have some, just let me know.
Louis the Cat bid $3 for Mason's friendship. Do I hear $5 from anybody?
I mean, Klog W said that after inflation, Mason's friendship is now worth 87 cents.
yeah, so that's less than $1. So I don't know. I guess I wasn't valued that highly to begin with. But props to Salmons for not only winning, but being right on time and being such a good sport. So
yeah, he's been waiting in the wings for a while now. So thank you a lot. So shall we get to the mailbags?
Yep. Let's. I gotta fix the soundboard here. I am trapped between soundboards. So, one moment, please. I don't know why it very annoyingly is like stuck on this one soundboard. So this soundboard app sucks.
I would pay anyone in chat right now to be my friend.
It's time for an
you,
almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag.
Welcome to the mailbag section where we talk about all the things that you want us to talk about by going over to aaapodcast.com, clicking the button at the top that says leave a mailbag, and then doing what these fine folks did to give us your questions and thoughts and whatever you want us to respond to. The first one today comes to us from Stormcrow. They write, one afternoon, while taking Truck-kun for a spin, Isekai inexplicably runs in front of you. The satisfying crunch of bumper on genre sends Isekai happily off into another world to be reincarnated. But this is all your fault, and now you are tasked by replacing the many Isekai shows currently airing with shows of a specific genre. Which underrepresented genre would you replace Isekai with?
That was like a roller coaster of a mailbag.
It was. I probably didn't read it all that well, but essentially, there's so much Isekai coming out season after season after season. What would you want to see that replaced with? For me, I was kind of split between sports shows. Yes, they're maybe a little overdone, and a lot of them follow the same lockstep, but I still love them. I still get satisfied watching them, and I love more sports shows, because if we do enough sports shows, eventually they'll have to branch out and start going to like lacrosse or hockey and sports that I care about. So, want more sports. And the other one was more like biographical, historical works. I think anime can be really interesting when telling these real life stories in very over the top or very dramatized ways. So I'd love to see those as well.
For me, it's like outer space based sci-fi. Probably there's like hardly any of that anymore. Like one a year it seems like. So I would take that. I would take anything with mechas in it. And also sports, but like real sports shows, like not to discount like some of the sports shows we've had lately, but they're just not really. They're not. I don't know. Sports is very competitive and serious a lot of the time, and watching like sexy girls like rock climb isn't really scratching the itch, I guess, since it's not really to be taken all that seriously. Like, I don't know. I wish we had more shows like Major and less shows like Dumbbell, I guess, if I had to put it simply. So I'm kind of worried that this next sports anime, this water polo anime is going to be more in the vein of what the hell, Kabaddi, and less in the vein of like a real sports show, because they're gonna think, oh, no one even understands water polo, and so they're gonna end up spending like half of this damn show explaining what water polo is, and then half of it will be abs, 100%.
Abu.
It's going to be abs, and then 6 episodes of getting the water polo club going and teaching you what the fuck water polo is, as if it was all that complicated, which it isn't. And, and then mostly just abs. So, but that's not really what I want.
I'd be interested to see a realistic crime drama because, I mean, there are some crime dramas out there. Like, you got Psychopaths, but that's more of like dystopian kind of crime drama, I think. I've never seen it, but that's at least what I know of it. And then you also have like stuff like Copcraft, which will be like a supposedly crime, but also have a lolly mythical creature
peeing in a litter box.
A cop. Yeah. So
good God.
But, yeah, so I think it'd be interesting to see like, oh, what if anime did Law and Order or something like that. And maybe, add a little bit of interesting characters to it that you would not see in an actual crime drama like live action, but also not make the main villain like an alien or a mythical creature or some sort of monster. I feel like that just happens way too often when you could do a realistic crime drama once.
I mean, it's happened here and there, but I could see the interest for it. Both Lord Leon and Gizmo are both asking for more sci-fi shows, so that seems to be getting some love.
Well, there's literally like none of them. Like, they don't even exist now. So.
Or how about a fantasy that is not an isekai?
Yeah, pretty much. I would take that too. I'd rather have the sci-fi though. Okay.
Second mailbag will be real quick. Will just be Yotaro Vegeta asking, "Who is ya fave, hacker or tech expert?" Mitz.
I don't know. The obvious answer is like Ed from Bebop probably, but I don't know. I think I like Goku from Goku Midnight Eye still. He's pretty cool. He can hack anything with his eyeball, so I'll go with that. I mean, why not?
I went with Daru from Steins Gate, kind of the basic answer. And he might not be the best hacker, but he's my favorite character, who also happens to be a hacker. So you gotta love the fluffy guy.
I'll be honest with you. I could not think of anyone in particular, so...
No!
Just say Ed from Bebop. It's the correct answer.
I have not even seen Bebop yet.
Just say Radical Edward.
Oh
Radical Edward!
There you go. Right answer. Go watch that in Psychopaths. Do yourself a favor.
Edward from Cowboy Bebop. All right, guys. Well, we've arrived at the end here. The moment we've all been waiting for, maybe. SK8 the Infinity. The review of SK8 the Infinity. The Winter 2021 anime. We are running out of Winter 2021 shows to review. But you can watch this on Funimation, and I passed it in episode 560, which was not all that long ago, I guess. And the synopsis is pretty much skateboarding is fun. Like that's the title. Or that's what it's about. Like you just know it. Carve it into your brain.
Infinite, and it's fun. Fun is infinite when you're skateboarding. Yeah. Skateboarding is fun.
So really, there's this high school kid named Reki who loves skateboarding, and one night he and at night he and a bunch of other skateboarders go to this like illegal underground racing thing inside of a mine to this like event they call S, where they compete in basically more or less races in this mine, which is pretty dangerous. And then while working at his job at Dope Sketch, Reki runs into this new kid in town named Longa, who moves to Japan from Canada, where he was a skateboarder or a snowboarder, but he doesn't really know how to skateboard yet. And so they become friends, and they go to check out this S like racing thing together, and Longa gets wrapped into the world of skateboarding. I guess that's pretty much the synopsis. I guess I would say, done by Studio Bones and directed by Utsumi Hirono, a rare female director who directed Banana Fish and other things. So, and it should also be noted that this is an original anime done by Bones. So there's no source material for it, which is always kind of interesting. I enjoy when they're originals. So, Caroline, what were your expectations coming into SK8 the Infinity?
Well, I knew it was going to be about skateboarding, and I was interested by it because I don't really know much about skateboarding myself, but I heard a lot of people talking about it and how it's like, whoa, like look at all this stuff that's going on in this anime. So I was kind of thinking like, this might be an interesting watch. And for the most part, I thought it was interesting, but there are several things that I have a little bit of grievances towards, which we will get in a little bit, I suppose.
Mason, how about you?
So I watched episode 1 back when it released. It seemed all right, not quite up my alley, but as Caroline mentioned, it was getting a lot of hype for the visuals, for some of the characters, and literally on my notes, I just wrote initial expectations, fun, in all caps. That seemed to be the the prerogative.
Wow, you knew it going in.
I did, so that's what I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I pretty much, I'd seen the first 3 episodes of this already because I passed it, and I thought the first 3 episodes were very strong. It was probably one of my favorite shows of the ones I had for that season after 3 episodes. So, I expected it to be not like a super serious anime because it was pretty clear that it wasn't, but at least a good watch and a lot of fun, and something that would probably be memorable. And I think it is a pretty memorable show. So, but just because it's memorable doesn't mean it's any good. So, Caroline, would you recommend this show to people? Let's just get your recommendation, or not.
It's hard, man. It's hard. If you don't mind things being a bit over the top, then I guess it would be a strong recommendation. But if you get a little bit too bogged down by all that, it kind of just distracts you. Maybe watch a few episodes and see if this is the kind of show that you would like. Otherwise, there are quite a few things that I was a little bit disinterested in with this show. I thought there were quite a few good points. So it's hard to recommend, but I would say just try a few episodes.
Mason, how about you?
I would not recommend Skate. It certainly has its place. If you are a fan of just great visuals, a mix of like Banana Fish and like Apari Ranman, and just zany, eccentric characters, yeah, you're going to find something to like here and be entertained, but it fails on so many other accounts that I can't really wholeheartedly recommend that anyone watch this show besides looking up like good Sakuga cuts online.
Yeah, for me, this show was very disappointing. I think that it really lost me around episode 5, episode 6 sort of time frame, maybe towards the end of episode 5. It's just, when you hear the plot synopsis of like these illegal underground races that are dangerous, and it's, I immediately thought Initial D, because that's the most obvious comparison. Another very popular, I should say a vastly more popular franchise in Initial D, but it is also these like illegal races that happen, on like, at night when no one's around. And but ultimately this show for me was, it's not even really about racing. Like, it's not even, it jumps the shark so many times in its content. You end up starting off thinking, oh, it's going to be about like skateboarding, or it's going to be about these races. And it's a lot more about just like being, I don't even fucking know. Like, honestly, like Adam is the whole show is like about Adam, more or less, seems like.
He ruined the show for me.
And like, he's just so over the top that it's just really hard to take anything in this show seriously. I mean, he's like cackling and dancing around on his skateboard like some Phantom of the Opera thing, and
it was very close to Boyce's crotches.
and the races don't even really, they're not even races. Like, perhaps Initial D is an unfair comparison, but like, whereas in Initial D you've got, people are crashing and they're doing like these insanely dangerous like maneuvers and drifting downhill, and it's just all this, and they could be doing that on their skateboards too, easily. But I'd say from episode 6 on, like, it's not even about racing, and it's more about just like clubbing each other in the head with your skateboards and like not even really racing. And it's way too corny. I mean, there is so much bromance in this show that it is like, it's borderline like a boys love show, honestly. Like, it approaches that. Like, there were a couple times when I thought Longa and Reki were just gonna like drop their skateboards and just start like going at it. It's really over the top and really not what I expected, and there is virtually no plot line in this anime at all. So, super disappointing. So yeah, I would not definitely not recommend this. It's I don't know. I don't know what the hell happened. I watched this with Pancake, and we both agreed that it really nosedived from episode 6 on and just never really came back. And Reki's sort of like sad boy routine got pretty irritating. So I'm gonna have to say a no on the recommendation from me here. So let's move into the spoiler section. There's a lot more to be said, and we will go from there.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
All right. So I will say the anime looks great and it sounds great.
Yeah, I thought the music was pretty good.
Yeah, the opening theme is really good. I don't really watch ending themes usually. I don't have enough time barely to even watch the animes at all as it is. So I'm usually pretty tempted to skip the opening and the closing unless they're really good. And we watched the opening probably almost every time. So it was a solid watch. But where do we go from here, guys?
Had like some Persona vibes in there, and I think even more than the music or the animation, I think what I really loved about the show visually was the color palette. It was so like vibrant and bold without looking like gaudy. Like it just looked stunning. The still frames, like there's a scene I think where Langa just like opens up like a picture frame to like prop it up, and that looked like fantastic. Like the show strong point was its visuals easily.
Yeah.
Okay, now that that's out of the way.
Yeah, I mean it's anybody looking for like a show that's actually about skateboarding, just forget it. This is not about skateboarding. I mean, they're literally like
So I half disagree with you.
I mean, seriously? Okay. Why?
I feel like it's odd because when Reki is teaching Langa how to skate, that is superbly well done. Like the weight of everything.
I was interested in that.
The movement of the
just needed
skateboard.
that.
It looked so solid, but then when it went to the racing, it became so slapstick and cartoony that it broke all the realism that it established in the training. And it was like, how did they make it look so good at this part, but so just zany in the other? So I agree that when it actually was serious time for racing, it looked a little too much.
Well, I think the problem was that they didn't spend much time on the teaching of skateboarding. It only lasted like 2 episodes. And then like
maybe if they realize that by teaching actually like going through the basics of skating further, it would just completely make all these shenanigans they do in these massive races it would be 2 very, very, very different things.
Yeah, they couldn't spend time if they made skateboarding as difficult as it is in real life, it would have made the racing too unbelievable.
Yeah.
Especially for him to get there.
I mean, Langa goes from I can't even stand on the skateboard to literally like skateboarding down cliff sides like he's from Golden Boy or something.
Yeah.
In the span of just a few episodes.
I can talk forever about how much Langa is just a Mary Sue to the max. It is so frustrating to watch because here you have this guy. He's like, oh, I could do an ollie in 2 weeks when this guy did like in 2 months, and I can jump a story into the air and slap the wall and come down and stick the landing. And it's like, when did you gain superpowers? It's a question.
Honestly, I don't mind that it was that zany. Like, I don't mind that it was that cartoony. Like, what really broke my immersion was I don't believe that a snowboarder could be so clueless as to what skateboarding is. Like, they're designing a skateboard, and Ricky's like, what kind of wheels do you want? And Lanka's like, wheels? For the board? Like, he was so, like... Well, I get that they're different sports, but they're so adjacent in, like, their culture and, like, the people that are into them. Like, I don't buy it. It's like if someone played poker for 15 years, but has never heard of blackjack. It's like... I'm pretty sure you would have heard about it and had some like knowledge of it and not be so like befuddled by like what is this strange device with wheels on it? Nani? Like I could buy like the crazy zany skateboarding though. That didn't bother me too much.
Japan does do does do this thing in anime where they're very much like we don't think the viewer it's like they don't think the viewer has any actual knowledge of their own. Like like you're watching tennis and they have to spend like hours teaching you the rules of tennis, or like, oh, like I don't even know what a skateboard is. Like, you know, it's just ridiculous. Like skateboards exist in every country, you know, and there's absolutely no way on earth that Longa, especially being in the skateboard community or in the snowboard community, would not know what a skateboard is. Like, it's just totally bizarre. But
yeah. I think sorry, did you have something?
No, I was just gonna go on to more complaining.
Okay. Well, my complaining, I think the problem is that the show was trying to be too eccentric. Like, first of all, so many of the characters felt like they were pulled from other properties. You have JoJo with like the hyper muscular Pillarman. You have the vampire with the same voice actor as Dio. The characters with star marks on them. The chef of Italian cuisine. You also had this like cyber kimono aesthetic with like Tron bikes. You had this like Fennec Fox pet thing that is like Teto from Noshka. You had like the One Punch Man like training routine. You had the Initial D like techniques of winning races. Like, it felt like it was just pulling in so many ideas from so many different anime, and just anything was like, yeah, we'll use that, and they didn't add anything to it. It just felt copied and pasted and mashed together in this like soup that just did not play nice with one another. And these characters just did not feel like they were in the same universe. They didn't feel, their backstories weren't realistic. Like, there was just too much noise going on.
Yeah, and then
Go ahead,
like
Caroline.
one thing I did get caught up on is like with that whole like that big muscular guy skateboarding. He's like, and he was wearing this outfit with a lot of draping fabric, and cloth is just very loose, and he's going like super fast, and everybody's like, whoa, he can go even faster. And it's like, I'm seeing this draping cloth, and I'm like, if the need for speed is so important, why are you wearing that? Sorry, I just always get caught up on those things.
Because you have to see his 8-pack the whole time.
Yeah, and then he has to jump off a skateboard into the sky and jump off a cliff.
I don't know. I mean, for me, the reason why I ended up not liking this show was because it stops being about skateboarding and just starts being about like these like ridiculously eccentric like relationships between the characters. Like, Adam is like clearly insane, and he's like, I have to find my Eve.
Oh God!
I am Adam, and someday, this is how corny this show is, people. The quote unquote villain's like, his name's Adam, and he's like, someday I too, will I ever find my Eve? And then
I
like
wanted to barf several times.
It's just like unbelievably just corny, and you know, like the sexual tension between like the entire cast is just thick as anything. I mean, there's it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's and then they finally get to like the end, whatever the hell like the Infinity's about, and it's basically just like, oh, when you're doing something and you have so much focus that you don't think about anything else. It's like anybody can do that with anything. Like, I
drive like that.
Yeah, exactly. You drive your
that
fucking
zone, you're
car
like, wait a minute,
that.
how did I get here?
You drive your car like that, you know. You can computer programming, you know, Sekiro, like anything it is, you could totally just zone out and focus on it, you know, and it becomes muscle memory, and you wake up and you go, oh, did I just like drive home? I didn't even think about it.
But you also don't get into that zone with another person, because then like Adam's like, you have joined me in the zone, and I'm like, you're in your own zone, bro. Like, there's a wall between us.
and then of course, Ricky's like, oh, how do we get him out of the zone? Let me just yell out his name quietly, and halfway down the mountain he'll hear me. So I wanted to take a step back. I feel like Adam gets a lot of hate, and deservedly so. But honestly, he was just another like archetypal contrived drama character added into the mix. But I think the biggest annoyance I had with him is that he comes in on the scene. He's like, Longa, I'm going to challenge you to a race. And Longa's like, cool, I'll race you. And the next 2 episodes is every character being like, Longa, you can't race Adam. You shouldn't race him. It's a bad idea. Don't do it, man. Just withdraw. Don't do it, man. And they just spend a lot of time trying to convince him not to race this guy when everyone knows that they're going to race. And it just felt like a massive waste of time for them to constantly just be harping on this when no one really did anything about it.
It's so dangerous. Like, oh my God. You know, don't.
But I liked his skating. I liked the fancy footwork. I loved when he was like trying to corner and he just would grab spectators to like go even more aggressively. I thought that was cool. Even his like bashing mid-face, like of that one dude with his skateboard. Like the first time I was like, dang, that I felt that impact. That was kind of cool. Like,
Okay,
I didn't
so
mind
this
him
is
as a skater.
This is where we're gonna have to disagree because we've already disagreed on Discord about this.
Mm-hmm.
So at the point where you are off your board, you are standing there, you are no longer skating, and then you take said board and smash the opponent in the face.
Club
I
him in
know
his
it's an
face.
anything goes competition, but once you are off your board and not skating, I feel like that shouldn't count.
So if you fall ever and have to get off your board, that doesn't count?
No, that's like part of the act of skating is falling off. But when you go and get off your skateboard and and you attack another person, I feel like that you should.
What
that should
about
be
using
counted.
dynamite to drop rocks on other
They are
people?
still skating, aren't they?
Oh, if they're on their board, anything goes, but if they're off it, it doesn't count.
I
That's
feel like
what
when
you're
you're off it, you are no longer in your competition. And you can get back on your board and rejoin the competition. But if you are off your board and you use that board to smack another player in the face, I feel like that's not part of the competition.
I feel like that's a risky play that gets rewarded. I feel like if you can pull off the amount of time you lose by stopping your progress and going back uphill, I think you got to risk it for the biscuit sometimes. I'm not saying I think that he did it like 5 times and it was cool anymore. Sure, it was a little bit much, but I was like, wow, that surprised me and was interesting, and I enjoyed it. I've played a lot of SSX 3 growing up. Like, I'm used to some intense skateboarding tricks.
I mean, I guess, but also on like the other side of the spectrum, you have this whole political drama that probably was not needed. They did not spend enough time on it to make it necessary, and honestly, it was probably the least interesting part of the show.
And it had such a like uninteresting payoff. It was so like, I'm not saying Adam was a good character because he certainly was just as bland and
he never got his comeuppance. Like, he should have at least gone to jail. He did.
Nope.
He did something wrong.
He realized that he actually likes skating and it is actually fun, and now everything's all right. All the injuries of people he killed or sent in wheelchairs, millions of dollars he's like plundered from people, like all that is fine because he realized that he's having fun with his servant dog that he treats dirt. Like,
yeah, and if they were going to have to go to that route and be like, oh, skating's fun and I am now good, it would have made more, thematical sense to have his underling race him as he was planning to. And then he just let him off and let Longa do whatever he wanted. But I feel like at the very least, if they were gonna do that kind of thing, it should have been the underling.
Yeah. I was just impressed in the show that they got the license to use an A&W restaurant. And I don't know why. Because clearly there was a budget in the show to make that happen, even though I don't know why they put forth the effort or money, but they did it, and that's a thing. So there you go.
We just had an A&W restaurant closed down, but right by where I live. Not that I don't even know what the hell they sell. I've never been in one.
Root beer? I don't know.
I think it was hot dogs and stuff, like just American food. But to me, the races in this were just a total waste of time. Like, I don't know. Like they're completely uninteresting. There's not really any. It was obvious the whole time how like the final match or whatever who it would have been between, because it was projected a mile away, or I guess telegraphed a mile away, and every race is pretty much the same. It's just Adam's just gonna get off his board and try to hit you in the face with it, but like where the show just becomes like. I think the reason why it lost me was like in episode 6, as I guess it's where Reki is racing Adam, and Adam is like waltzing with him on the skateboards, and like they're like literally waltzing and like hugging, and like he's like dipping him like he's dancing and shit, and I'm just like, this is not skateboarding. Like it's just goofy.
You do not
and
dance
it's
in
just
skateboarding.
It jumps the shark to a place where you really can't take the show seriously, because perhaps it was never meant to be taken seriously, but it becomes stupid. Like, I don't know. I think Pancake was like, this is not how skateboarding people that I grew up with knew, and she used to like skateboard when she was like a young teenager. And she's like, of all the skateboarders I knew, I think she said used to like smoke pot and like hang around at the skate park with like 30-year-olds. It's like how she put it. And like, this anime does not really feel like this, like normal, like the skateboarding crowd that you'd expect. And the races, they're not even races. They're just like they're just excuses to have like just nonsensical activities happening between characters. Like you got like the one guy's got a skateboard that's like a computer that can fucking transform. Then you have like, various people that are like the famous people that race. It's like there's like the cheering crowd of girls that are just squealing off on the side, like, oh my god, Cherry, he's so sexy. It's just like a ton of cliches, and ultimately, like, I don't know, like what is the like the selling point of the show at the end of the day? I mean, it's not skateboarding. I know it's just not. I mean, honestly, it would have been I would have enjoyed the show more if it was just like an X Games style like half pipe competition, and they were like trying to like compete for like a prize, because watching Adam like doing the fucking tango on his board downhill while he's racing downhill, and then like talking about how he has to waltz with me like the Phantom of the Opera, it's just like it's
Be
just,
my Eve.
and then in the back
gamer move.
And then in the background, there's like this really thin plot line about like politics, and then some red-haired girl that's like investigating him or something, and that never goes anywhere. And
she even gets like transferred. I'm like, why are you transferring her? She was doing her job.
Well, it's because they're all corrupt. She was invested, but it's like that doesn't go anywhere. That's not. Why is that even in the show? It's not about that. Like, there's no. It goes nowhere, and it just wastes time and adds like this like thread in the background that really has no purpose. And ultimately, the show is just about skateboarding is fun. Like, there's even like this scene where Long is falling through the air and like the skateboard's like twirling above him, and it just says, and then on the bottom of the skateboard it just says fun. And he's like, I remember now, skateboarding is fun. And it's just like, it's just so fucking corny, and I don't know. I must just be an old fucking curmudgeon, but
I agree.
I didn't really get much out of this.
I mean, and also this illegal skating race thing is the worst kept secret in Japan, because everyone is there. There's 1,000 people there. How do they keep it a secret? And the only time that it gets that anybody gets caught is because I forget who it was, but somebody just leaked it. One person leaked it. So it's like, how does nobody know about this? But apparently everybody knows at the same time. I don't get it.
Couldn't tell you. I'm trying to think of like other things I enjoyed about the show. Like, I like Reki when he's not moping.
I actually liked the character dynamic in like episode 7 where you have the classic like Reki is falling behind Avlanga. He's realizing maybe he doesn't have the same natural talent, and he's like, what's the point of all this effort? Yada yada yada. And I always enjoy that element of a show, but it was just led to a like resolution that was so overdone and so like dramatized that I was like, it was a good setup, but it kind of fell apart. So I wanted to like that part of it, but it was a little too mopey.
I mean, I also kind of liked it too, because it is relatable. Like, you want if you have a hobby that you love but you are crap at it, it really sucks. Really sucks. Especially when you're surrounded by these gods of skating. You have freaking Longa, who didn't know what skateboarding was a month ago, and now he's the best skateboarder in Japan. Could be on the Olympic team or whatever that one kid said. Yeah, it sucks. And then you also have these other characters who are like, yeah, everybody calls you that red-haired guy and the guy that's always with Longa, and like, who even is he? And then they get surprised when Reki a deep depression, and they're like, wait a minute, why are you so upset? And I'm wondering, like, why would you ever say something so awful to a person, let alone your friend? So yeah, it did go on for a while. The resolution was ham-fisted and like just so and dumb, but it's relatable for sure.
Yeah, I'm just kind of surprised this show has such a high review online. I don't know what I'm missing, you know? I mean, clear down to the last episode where the villain realizes that skating is fun too, and he like goes, "Oh my god, I'm having a flashback to my childhood when I enjoyed skating," and it's like, "Oh, I remember now. It's actually fun." And it's like, dude, you just like spent the last like 5 years of your life crippling people with your skateboard, and now you're realizing skateboarding's fun. It's just like a massive cliche where the villain becomes like a good guy. And
he even joins like a birthday party or something at the very end, right?
Yeah, I'm just
he like skydives onto him.
I'm clearly missing something in this, because like
I would not want this guy around children, let alone these characters on a birthday party.
Yeah, I mean this guy did, but I don't know. He did everything except like, just I don't know. I don't even want to go there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm missing something clearly in this, but honestly, I think that probably the high marks online are simply because it looks good, and that seems to go pretty far nowadays. But you know, virtually I think anybody could have written this story. Like, there's absolutely, and probably did it better. Like, there's absolutely no way that this can even remotely be considered good writing. Like, there's absolutely no way. I feel like anybody could have written this, right down to like the youngest of children. Like, you know, you could have like a kid that skateboarded for a year and go, write a skateboarding show about people who race and make it fun, and like they could pull it off, like a 7-year-old probably.
Yeah, and it would track though, because these kids are basically like, these skaters are just basically skating to the moon, and it's all just part of normal day life.
I'm gonna get like I'm gonna get a 1-star review on iTunes for this for my negativity about this show, and then the people on Twitch are saying that I'm being way too nice. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I wanted Initial D, where they're like racing and using their skateboarding abilities to do dangerous cornering, or whatever it is. Just you're racing, but maybe weaving in and out of obstacles. Maybe someone gets hurt, but it's not real. This is not what this is. So ultimately, do you guys have anything else to add? Honestly, I mean,
no, I think we've kind of yelled at this show enough.
Yeah, it was just bad. Like, the writing's just really terrible. Yeah, it was a big disappointment, I think, because the first 3 episodes I thought were strong, and I was really enjoying it. But
yeah, I think you're right that because the show had so much potential between the initial stuff, the great training, animation, just the color palette, like, it had a bunch of talented people behind it. So to see it fall short of those expectations made it a little more tragic than something like, let's say, Listeners, which from the gate did not offer the promise that this show did.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, this show left me wanting to watch Initial D to just like get some like illegal racing, because I wanted to see that, but it left me wanting in that area. I don't really feel like it ever got to that point, and it was just a big disappointment. I think that we settled for pretty boys and pretty animation, and that was pretty much all this show had to offer. So I'm gonna give it honestly a generous 2 broken skateboards out of 5. Like, I think that's probably as good as it's gonna get.
Well, I guess I'll go next. There were things I liked about the show, but there were plenty more things that I was kind of like smacking my head about. If it wasn't so corny, maybe I would like it better. But the whole like, then it all broke when they did that little handshake. They did the high five, the fist bump, and they made the infinity sign with their hands. I'm like, oh god.
Yep.
They just broke the corny levels on this show.
I thought they were gonna like start making out at that scene. I could feel it. I just like, it's gonna happen. They were like inching closer and closer together, and I was like, it's like, here we go.
Tell you what, I thought for at first that the whole Reki goes like, there's something that I want to do after you when you're a race with Adam or something, and I thought it was like, let's go snowboarding. I would have liked that, but no, they just decided that they're gonna race each other, and I'm like, can't you just like make it full circle? Anywho, so things I liked about it, things I didn't like about it, I've already talked my head off about it. but I'm gonna have to give this 2 almost decapitating your skateboarding opponent with the skateboard out of 5.
Sorry, I was distracted. I was reading Louis the Cat's iTunes review because he said he did it, and I read it, and it was so sweet. So thank you. I think we're all going to agree on this one. I am also going to give it a moderately generous 2 hands, each forming a circle that awkwardly connect to make an infinity sign, as Caroline mentioned, out of 5. It wasn't atrocious, but it left a lot to be desired. So there you go.
I think we're all in agreement then.
I don't think this show had a single female character in it.
Was it had that one
mom.
You had the mom, you had the younger sisters that didn't do anything.
The mom.
Yeah. And you have the detective lady that didn't do anything.
You have like 3 sisters and a mom.
Yeah.
Or 2 moms.
Yeah. There's cute girls doing cute things, and that's like a genre basically. Is this like cute boys doing edgy things?
I mean, they even had Langa's mom just completely clueless on how to parent Langa. She was like, Oliver, my dead husband, what do I do? At every single turn. It's like, they couldn't even made her a competent mother.
I mean, I like the scene at the dinner table where he's like wearing bandages and she's like, is he getting into fights? Like, how do I approach it? Like, it was moments. I get what you're saying. Like when she's like, what would my husband do? Womp, womp, womp.
And I won't go into how much I wanted just one character to be a female skateboarder, but yeah, we've already discussed for a while, so.
All right, well, that pretty much wraps that up. Pretty disappointing overall, but, we're going to float around the 2 out of 5 range for that one, and I'm going to forget that one exists. Next week, we're going to be doing probably the last episode where we will discuss ReZero. ReZero Season 2 Part 2 is the wrap-up of that. Caroline looks excited. And my expectation is that it'll get much better marks than this last show. And then the following week after that, we're going to review 86, which was the top choice from the listeners from the spring 2021 anime lineup. So, and I think next week we're going to be picking our summer 2021 anime as well from the summer season. So you'll get to have a good preview of what we're going to be covering from that season in short order. So, and it's I always enjoy those episodes. I've already put my selections down on the doc. So
I've not even started looking.
Well, yeah,
Just doing it mid podcast. You'll love to see it.
I did it during the news break. So it was there wasn't a tremendous amount to pick from, honestly, but like you said, we had like a glut of just like epic stuff, especially from like the prior season was just ridiculous. So, guys, again, if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow the podcast at AAA Podcast. I am at Pope Mitsugi. Mason is at Macy Pacey. And you can find us on Facebook and, of course, Discord as well through the website, aaapodcast.com. If you want to help out the podcast, it's aaapodcast.com/join our Patreon. You can get our hentai episodes. I have some interesting things in store for the hentai episodes if you want to jump on there and catch those here in the coming months. We also get our hobby addicts and our after parties. So I don't think too many podcasts record 8 extra episodes for you a month for such a small amount of contribution. So we do appreciate everything you can offer. Guys, what's going on the Discord right now that people can enjoy?
Well, we got Anime Club coming up on June 16th. If you are listening to this live, then you'll be able to join us there. But if you are just listening to the recording, unfortunately, probably has already passed. But, we welcome everyone. Just join into the Anime Club channel on our Discord. Figure out where we're watching next, and it's a good time. So we're watching Katana Gatari, and we are watching it through episode 7. And just join us there for discussion. Starts at 10 p.m. EDT.
And the week following that, June 23rd, Manga Club is discussing Blue Period, volumes 1 through 2. You come on by, read the stuff, and we chat about it. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. Just hang out and vibe, and it's a good time, so we'd love to see you there.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Hopefully I survive my next mountain climb, so I won't end up getting eaten by a goat or anything. But we'll see you next time. Until then, stay addicted, and we'll see you for an after party here in a few minutes. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.